Hey, J-Bros popping back in. We're on the fence project, doing pretty good. We just pulled off this panel here. This is kind of how unusable this fenced in yard is. You know, when you had like 1 or 2 dogs way back in the day, you know, that's pretty legit over there. But we weren't thinking when we built this 20 plus years ago. So right now we're just we're pulling these out completely, and we're going to put some OSB from here to here so the dogs can't get past that point. And then just to get you caught up here, this is where we're at with those panels. Obviously that's max height right now, slightly over 6 feet, but by the time you put some dirt around it, probably right at that 6 feet. But that's all done. Working our way down here. I've got to dig out a little bit more down here, but these posts are all set and ready to go. And just pop some paneling in there, and we're going to go off the old post right there in that corner. So that's the only one that's old that'll get used, but this panel's all coming out. We'll strap onto the chain with the mini skid and pull these posts and get this looking dialed in. So we're basically going to gain 16 feet from the deck to over here, because this is 8 foot from here to here. It's about 8 foot from there to inside there. Plus we're going to gain all this other space. But main objective here, because I want to get you caught up, is just show you why we're doing what we're doing, and then kind of what we're doing. But this is going to be night and day better. But we'll get stuff moving here, get the skid fired up, start pulling some posts. Okay, coming along here pretty good. Surprisingly, you know, 25 years ago with the screws that I use, they're actually unscrewing pretty good. So obviously I use some high quality stuff. And the fact that they're T25s, that's kind of about 25 years ago is when Torx screws kind of came into existence of getting used. But yeah, I think this is gonna look great. I mean, look at this. Like I said, none of this stuff was even able to be used. So once we get this branched out of here and pulled out of here, I just got this one here left that's secured. But you can kind of feel now what we're gonna be dealing with. I mean, this is gonna be great. So yeah, we'll start getting these hauled away out of here, and shouldn't be long. It should look sweet. Okay, we're about set up here. This tent board is put in, so that's blocked off so the dogs can't go anywhere. I'm gonna hop right on the mini skid here right away. I got a chain over there. I'm gonna get set up and see how easy these posts get pulled. But I'll tell you what, it's kind of like, do you like this style of fence better here? These are 8 foot on center posts, and you can kind of see over the years they've just twisted and went all over the place. Not saying that these posts will not twist and stuff all over the place, but I would say the odds of them doing what those posts have done, being they're screwed every 4 foot on center, I bet you these stay a lot straighter. But look at how clean that looks right down here. I think it's just going to be beautiful. I'm going to do some back dragging in here a little bit, just get this prettied up, and like I said, get these posts out of here. And once I remove these posts, I will start right in this corner and get these panels going. And this is just gonna, yeah, this is just game changing for a person's house. That's all I can say. I wish I had this set up and fully fenced in over at my operation. But we'll get after here and get these posts pulled. Well, I think I'm gonna have to do a little bit more coercing. I'm gonna have to dig around a little bit.
was hoping for.
They're not rounders either, are they?
Oh. Yeah, that might have to be a gig where I break them off and bury them if they're not going to want to come out like that. I'll have to check this out. Well, that's not exactly what I was aiming for, but I don't think there's much a guy can do. I'll just dig around them, bust off what I can with the bucket, grade this stuff out, and if I gotta cut them right down to the concrete, I'll cut them right down to the concrete, because all of this is getting covered and overgraded, and they should be below grade anyway. So yeah, I'll get this chain removed and start moving and flattening some dirt. All right, this is where I'm closing out for today. This is looking really, really good. So obviously from earlier, having that fence up in here, just look at how much this here, how much more functional this is. Because that obviously, as you already know, that fence had come right through here. You couldn't even move. I mean, just the overall curb appeal, functionality, all this looking great. I don't know what more a guy can say than yeah, talk about backyard transformation with the old CRT. All this crap here is all full of landscape rock and dirt, so I'll have to get the dump trailer over here, haul that away and get rid of that. But so far everybody has really liked the like this fence. And like I mentioned before, I still got to get my skid, cut out that bottom chunk so I can slip in that board, but I just didn't do that because of sheer speed, and I'll have to do a little bit of digging to get one more board in on that side, and then I'll be good to go. But yeah, I'll be popping in here hopefully tomorrow, and yeah, we should see that done. I'd like to get all those tops of those posts cut off and get the top plate up there, but slowly but surely we'll get there. But please like, subscribe, comment down below. J Bros out.